Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has departed for the United States. The visit makes Prime Minister Modi just the third world leader after France's Macron and South Korea's Yoon to be invited by President Biden for a state visit and dinner. A roadmap for defense industrial cooperation is expected to be the key outcome of Narendra Modi's U.S. visit. Amid China's territorial ambitions, Washington is working to deepen ties with the world's largest democracy and sees deeper military-to-military and technology ties. Here's what the Indian Foreign Secretary had to say about the visit.
The next key component which will also be showcased prominently during the visit is the bilateral defense cooperation. It has been a critical pillar of our engagement, and within that a new element this year during this visit we expect is the progress on defense industrial cooperation roadmap.
The Indian Prime Minister's visit will begin in New York, where he will lead the celebrations of the International Day of Yoga, the United Nations headquarters, on June 21st. Starting in 2014, the International Day of Yoga has become one of the major events in the annual calendar of activities of the United Nations. In New York, the Prime Minister will also interact with eminent personalities. Washington, D.C. will roll out the red carpet on June 22nd when Joe Biden hosts Narendra Modi. The U.S. President will hold bilateral talks with the Indian Prime Minister. The Biden administration is all set to sign a deal that would allow U.S.-based General Electric to produce engines for military aircrafts on Indian soil. While India can manufacture jets domestically, it is keen to get the technical know-how to make aircraft engines. India intends to produce more than 350 fighter jets for its Air Force and Navy over the next 2 decades, which could be powered by the General Electric's engine 414. Top lawmakers in the United States have invited Indian Prime Minister to address Congress when he visits the capital of the world's largest economy. Remember, the rare opportunities granted only to the country's closest allies. On June 23rd, the Indian Prime Minister will be hosted by U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris and Secretary of State Antony Blinken. He will also interact with top chief executives and community leaders. Top U.S. leaders are looking forward to the Indian Prime Minister's visit. Here's what the chairperson of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee had to say.
I wish him well in his visit to Washington. From our trade and economic engagement to our security cooperation to our people-to-people ties, the India-U.S. relationship is critically important. We have made considerable strides in recent years, and I hope for even more in the future.
Last May, Biden and the Prime Minister announced a bilateral initiative on critical and emerging technology dubbed as ICET. The two leaders directed their governments to work together on advanced technology from AI to semiconductor chips and quantum computing, especially in defense. Let's talk more about this visit, and we are now being joined by our diplomatic correspondent Sidhant Sibor, live from New York City at the Times Square. Sidhant Sibor, good to see you again. We expect the Prime Minister to arrive in the United States tomorrow, being the 21st of June 2023. This is a significant trip for the Prime Minister because the focus will be bilateral ties between the United States and India on defense. Maybe you can tell us more about that.
Well, Eric, as the Indian Prime Minister reaches here in New York, his first welcome, of course, will be done by the diaspora, as we have seen previously as well. When Prime Minister lands in any foreign soil, it's the diaspora who is eager to welcome the Prime Minister. But we will be meeting select people, including business leaders here in the United States, in New York. And then, of course, is the Yoga Day that is the showstopper, where several celebrities are expected to attend the Yoga Day. It will be around 8 a.m. local time, but 5 p.m. Indian Standard Time on Wednesday. But essentially, it's hard diplomacy in Washington, as both leaders will be hoping that they can see an outcome-oriented relationship, a relationship that can not only withstand the test of time, but also the test of geopolitics. As we have been talking about, these countries both India and the United States have worked in last 2 decades to improve this relationship in several ways, and whosoever from the government in India or whether in United States, we have seen a bipartisan support to have a good relationship between these two countries. And this visit essentially will see a celebration of sorts, as we have been talking about, on India-US relationship, a relationship that has come of age and a relationship that is working towards a lot of convergences and focusing on issues like critical technology. Now, we know that India needs critical technology, and India is keen that United States might transfer that, because as the 5th largest economy and the most populated country, it has its own needs which can only be fulfilled by technological advancement, and in this case America can play an important role for India.
All right. Live from the Times Square in New York City, our diplomatic correspondent Siddhant Sibol will give you all the updates of the Indian Prime Minister's visit to the United States. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.